When Jennair Gerardot suspected her husband was having an affair with his boss, she began spying on him.
It would lead her down a dark path of violence and tragedy.
We're previewing Bad Bad Thing.
That's on this episode of So Much Crime.
So Little Time. Welcome to So Much Crime, So Little Time. I'm Jeff.
And I'm Dee, and in this episode we'll introduce you to Bad Bad Thing from Podcast 1.
If you haven't listened to Bad Bad Thing, that is great. This is one of our preview episodes.
Here we only discuss episode 1 and introduce you to the series. No spoilers at all for what is to come.
And you can find a link to Bad Bad Thing in our show notes.
In our next episode, we'll discuss the whole series, but right now we just want to decide if this is a crime that's worth your time.
But Dee, before we get to that, before we get to this Bad Bad Thing, I think we should hop in the time machine.
Indeed. I definitely think we should. So this crime happened on April 23rd, 2018 in Radnor Township, Pennsylvania. So Jeff, I'm going to kick us off with a very short quiz.
Great. Love it.
The first question may be the most important question of the entire time machine. I'm just putting it out there.
Okay.
Okay. On April 23rd, 2018, what significant person was born? Was it Prince Louis of Cambridge? That's option A.
Okay. All right. Heard.
Was it my son? Was it? I don't have two other options. I need two other options.
It's one of those two. Is it both of them? Is it a trick
It
question?
is both of them. It is both of them. They were both born on April 23rd, 2018. I thought it was a bit unfair for Louis to just come out like,
Wait, I'm sorry. I've met your son. He is a significant person. Who was the other person?
Yeah, exactly. Are you
Seriously, I'm actually asking. Is this like a Kate Middleton child or something?
Yeah. Kate Middleton.
Was that right? Did I get that right?
Mm-hmm. You did.
Okay.
You did.
Right.
Kate Middleton.
You and Kate Middleton.
Yeah. I'll
both
tell you what.
had
I think a day and a half after birth, when she has to arrive out in white on the steps of the maternity hospital.
White.
And smile.
In white?
Yeah, they have to. Have you
That
never
seems
heard this?
ill-conceived.
Have you never heard Meghan Markle talk about this?
No.
It's
I'm sure she has opinions.
absolutely bonkers. Of course she does. Because it's bonkers. Jeff, did I ever tell you the funny story about me leaving the hospital with Reen?
Were you wearing white?
No, it was the exact opposite of white, right? So this whole thing with the royal family, I don't know the ins and outs. I know that they have to be on steps and the journalists have to be called and they have to have this photo op.
Wait, how soon after the birth?
I don't know what it is. It's days. It's days after the birth. You're still
Any number of days is too soon.
physically. Indeed it is, right?
Yeah.
Me, unfortunately, my son couldn't leave the hospital right after, as soon as we would have liked. Needed a little bit of extra help
Sure.
for a couple of days.
Happens.
And so my bag, which had my clothes and stuff in it, didn't have my coming home from hospital bag or coming home from hospital outfit that I had pre-planned because he's my first. I had a whole thing. It was
Sure.
very cute black leggings, trousers, soft trousers, still maternity because, just
Sure.
gave birth. And this kind of grey poncho that was, or not poncho sounds it's kind of a throw over top that was over a white top. And the white top was to enable me to be able to feed him and also cover up if I was doing that in public, especially as a new mother and my first child. Okay,
This all tracks.
there was a lot of thought going into this.
Yeah. This
So I
seems well
sent
thought
my
out.
husband home and said, these are the things, my grey top cover up was hanging up. So he got that. He got the white top for underneath. And he got a pair of black trousers and he brought them to the hospital. And we're leaving and we didn't expect to be leaving so quickly because there was a very quick, he got better very quick. So we ended up leaving the hospital very quickly, which was excellent.
Yeah.
After a few days of up and downs. When I look at the black trousers, they're fucking black leather pants. They're these black leather look maternity pants that I bought for like nights out. Like black leather pants were very in at the time, so I wore them a lot with like, you know, maternity tops and with the bump and stuff. It was a cute look. I promise you, it was a whole look at the time. But I'll tell you what was not a look, was leaving the hospital with my like
black leather trousers.
With black leather trousers. And I'll tell you what was not a look is, because I felt like what I looked like was I was going to be back a year later. And the worst thing was, I was back a year later.
Irish twins. That's why they're called that.
Well, close enough. But yeah. Anyway, sorry. There you go. I didn't even think that story is going to go up, but there you go. That's what happened. All right.
That's amazing. Okay. I have a restaurant review, and then I have a couple of quick songs for you. The restaurant review is a little long, but I think it's going to be worth it. So this crime took place in Radnor Township, Pennsylvania, which might beg the question of what's a township, which,
Indeed.
do you know?
No.
Okay, I looked it up. Not that interesting. We're not going to talk about it.
Sounds culty? No.
No, it's just a kind of a name of a designation of a place. That's a Pennsylvania thing that's been around for like 400 years. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Not important. This town, though, is right outside Philadelphia. It's also known as on the main line, which also we're not getting into what that means. This is where
Trains?
Villanova is. Let's just skip it.
Okay.
This town is maybe most famous as being the home of Villanova.
So happy I'm getting so much context here. Okay.
Have you heard of Villanova
what's-
University? It's a university.
No.
It's a pretty big university. It's where my niece goes to college. She is a student there.
Great.
She's there
You've
right
never
now.
mentioned her, just so she knows.
This is my niece Josie, my brother's daughter. Okay, so I looked up the #1 restaurant on TripAdvisor, and it's a place called 333 Belrose Bar and Grill. There are only 11 restaurants in Radnor Township that are listed on TripAdvisor, and this is #1 of 11. It's named 333 Belrose, I think because its address is 333 Belrose.
Shocker.
So super creative.
Didn't see that coming. Yeah.
It has 143 ratings on TripAdvisor. It has a 4.4 rating. There's only one terrible review and 2 poor reviews. And I'm going to read one of the poor reviews, a 2-star review, that I think is appropriate for the podcast we're about to discuss. Are you ready?
Yeah, go for it.
I would like your real-time reactions as I go through this. It's a bit long, but it's got some real peaks. The writer of this review is called Boomba Fam.
Oh, God.
They have 64 contributions. They visited this place in July of 2011, and they wrote this review in June of 2012. They waited a full calendar year to write this review. Curious, I know. The name of the review is Gold Digger Hangout. Gold Digger Hangout. And the review begins, I knew it wasn't just me. If you read other reviews here, even the positive 5-star ones talk about the rude waitstaff and their obnoxious antics. We ate here twice, patio one time, dining room the other. The first time, we had a male waiter who was professional. He did his job, and he was informed about the food and the chef. Seemed like this server was really headed somewhere in life, and this was a way to make cash while he worked to get where he wanted to be long term, and he had the right attitude all the way.
Oh my God.
How much do you love this person?
Oh my God, I fucking hate them.
All right. So to wrap up that first visit, it was a pleasant dinner. Food was excellent. We tipped very well and hope to return. Okay, now the second time. The waitress, female waitress, was like the loser end of my sorority. The loser end of my sorority. She was looking...
You are a fucking loser to be quoting your sorority in a review a year after you've been somewhere?
Oh, D, it gets better. It gets better.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Jeff,
she was looking to become a trophy
Boomba
mistress.
Who? What's her name?
Her name is Boomba Fam.
Oh,
Boomba
God,
Fam.
Boomba.
One word. Okay. She was looking to become a trophy mistress.
Was
and
she?
Could not be...
And he wasn't? The waiter wasn't looking to become... Sorry.
Wait for it. She could not be bothered to learn how to act like a professional adult or actually perform at a job because everything, aside from digging her fingers into an old man's pockets, was beneath her. She had to take our order twice. Didn't ask the temp, so I added it. Then after, she came out again and asked for temperature again? Question mark. Exclamation point. Question mark.
Temperature
Exclamation
what?
point. The temperature. I presume she means the temperature of some type of meat that they are cooking, but she doesn't actually say. Okay. It goes on. Then she disappeared forever. Cocktails and water totally empty. Yet we saw her by the bar flirting with the divorced or not financiers and dirty old sugar daddies. Ew. Finally, she came with the first course, which she then rushed on us, trying to put entrees beside it on our table like we were at a truck stop. On top of that, the entrees were lukewarm when she served them, so clearly she had been socializing way too long while the chef had it up. Then remember, she totally forgot our whole meal and threw it together in 5 minutes. The experience was not worth anywhere near what we paid for this BS. And this trashy girl didn't deserve a tip at all, but I always feel bad, so we left like 15%, which is very low for us. Had I to do it over, I wouldn't have left her anything because really, it was awful. It's a shame that the chef and ambiance of this establishment have to be paired with a rude staff because it could be a much better place. It's so polarized now. The combination of hot cuisine with nice decor mixed with bratty pigs, is only going to attract the wrong crowd. Wife cheaters with loads.
Pigs.
Bratty pig. But wait.
Wife
the wrong crowd.
cheaters.
Wife cheaters with loads of white-collar crooked money. We don't mingle is spelled wrong, with such people, so we won't be back. We don't mingle, actually says miggle. We don't miggle with such people, so we won't be back.
We don't miggle with the muggles, so we ain't going to be back.
So that's Boomba Fam. Yeah, thoughts on her? I presume her, she said sororities.
I'm going to assume something right now.
Okay. Let's hear
I'm
it.
going to assume that Boomba Fam has, in that year, had some element of not a full cheat and affair in her relationship, but a very close to, and has said, go fuck yourself to anyone who has come near her husband. And I would assume that her husband fancied the waitress, and I would assume all of this is because she knew it.
Interesting. I left out a detail that corroborates your theory. Under date visited, it says July 2011, and then below that, trip type, couples. The trip type is couples. So, yeah her
fella
significant other.
fancied him.
Yeah, the bratty pig, the loser end of her sorority, the trophy mistress.
It's, the name calling is so pathetic.
Wife cheaters.
It's so other womanly. Like, it's like, oh, the issue is the other woman. And it's like, well, no, even if the other woman, and we'll get into this, but even if the other woman is married, if you are in a relationship, the issue is the partner that you have sworn vows to. The issue is the partner that you have said you will be true to. The other person might be a fucking pig. The other person might be all of these things you can call them. Your issue and the impact on you will be with your partner.
Yeah.
And you will put the energy into the other person because it's easier than putting it on your partner. He had no choice. Her boobs were in his face. Like that's like, so like, let's just put it on someone else because then it's not me. It's not him. It's not him betraying me. It's someone else. It's a third party. It's fucking gross.
I would like this restaurant to start advertising themselves as a mix of hot cuisine, nice decor, and bratty pigs. I think that's a great tagline.
Honestly.
All right. So that was the 333 Belrose Bar and Grill, the #1 rated restaurant in Radnor Township. I have 2 songs. This is a little complicated. I knew you were in Ireland in this year, and so I looked up the #1 song in Ireland, and there was a #1 song the week.
One
What?
kiss is all it takes. Falling in love with me. Possibility. Calvin Harris and Dua Lipa. Do you know how I know it?
How do you know that?
Because a very good friend of mine, shout out to Ricken, got a she started a great trend actually because my son was born. He was one of the first out of like a lot of kids being born. And she got a framed on this day, and it has like, you know, the Taoiseach in Ireland, like his name, his birth date, his weight, the hospital, the Taoiseach, the price of a postage stamp, the first hit, his birth flower, all of that is there on it. So I know that one, and I know Fia's one. So she bought it for me, I bought it for her. She bought it, like, there's like this knock-on effect among lots of friends. It's very cute, and I've started to do it for other people as well, because it's adorable.
That's exactly
They're
right.
up in our sitting room. I'll show you them next time you come in.
Okay.
Beside the piano, there's like a photo of the kids in the middle, one frame on either side. Go on.
Okay. Well, so that was the number one song that day, but then a song came out that week.
Quickest that we've ever got there, though.
I didn't have to give you a single clue. Yeah,
No.
that was definitely the quickest. Do you know what song came out that week and then hit number one the next week?
No.
Okay. This one, incidentally, One Kiss hit number one in Ireland. It only hit number 26 on the Billboard Hot 100. Not as big of a hit here, although I feel like I definitely know that song.
Bop.
It was definitely a big hit here. Okay. But
Ray
anyway.
knows it as his song, but anyway, okay.
Nice. The next week, a different song hit number one in Ireland. This is a song that only hit number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100, so did a little better in the U.S. This is a song, so we covered the same time period on a recent episode this summer. I don't know if you remember what one that was. I'll tell you, it's the DIY Detective was also around the same time. And for that time machine, I did another song by the same artist, because this artist had a bunch of hits this year. This song was described, I have 2 quick quotes from reviews. Megan Garvey at Pitchfork said, "It's striking in its optimism, the soundtrack for the exact moment you decide to keep going." Okay, that's one. And the other one, NME said that this song is tackling hate and devastation with hope and disco.
Okay.
All right. Now, this is a song that's tough for the lyric read because it says the name of the song throughout in different ways. And so I've got a lot of blanks, and some of the lyrics are not particularly helpful, but I'm going to read it as written, as
With
the person
blanks.
who sings it. Yes.
Are you going to say blank?
Are you ready? Yes. I am
Okay.
going to say blank.
It's one word
All right.
of the name of the song.
It's also one of those songs that like has like, it's weirdly structured. I'm just going to start with the way it starts in the real song.
Okay. Go for it.
Right now, I'm in a state of mind I want to be in, like all the time. Ain't got blank, 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 blank. So I'm picking it up. I'm loving, I'm living, I'm picking it up. I'm picking it up. I'm loving, I'm living, I'm picking it up. And it goes on like that for a bit. Ain't got blank blank in my body. I ran out, but boy, I like it. I like it. I like it. Don't matter how, what, where, who tries it. We out here vibing. We vibing. We vibing. Coming out, even when it's raining down. Can't stop now. Can't stop, so shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. And if you don't know, then now you know it, babe. Know it, babe. Yeah.
I have no idea what this song is.
Do you want a clue? Another
Yeah.
clue? Okay. So, we've actually talked about this artist a couple of times before in Time Machine segments. In addition to the DIY Detective, this came up, I think it was in the Broomgate episode. Yes, it was in the Broomgate episode because this person was involved in a scandal, another gate. Their gate was called Donut Gate.
Oh, it's your one who licked the donuts.
Yeah, Ariana Grande.
Skinny
That's
Oak,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I don't know any of her songs, honestly, Jeff.
All right. This one is No Tears Left to Cry.
No.
How is she a blind spot in your pop music fandom?
I think like from a certain like time on, there's like this blind spot. So like the few people that pop in, like Taylor.
I actually like Ariana Grande. Like, I listen to her music.
Okay.
I think she's great.
So you knew this song?
Yeah.
Yeah. So lyrical.
It's a great song.
Mm.
This was also the song that she wrote in response
Poetry.
to the terrorist attack at one of her concerts, which had happened, I think, like the year before.
Manchester?
I think so, yeah.
That's fucking
the bombing.
horrendous. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, that was our time machine for today. Let's get into it. All right, real quick, just a reminder, go to patreon.com/so-much-crime, so little time. All kinds of fun stuff there. You get a chance to hang out with us online. You get bonus content, outtakes, extra time machine clips. If you thought that time machine we just did was missing something, it was. There's a segment that you didn't get to hear because it's on Patreon only. When you support us on Patreon, you get all kinds of cool free swag. We have everything from t-shirts, hats, stickers, new stuff coming out all the time. Go over to patreon.com/so-much-crime, so little time, check it out, and feel good about yourself for supporting this little show that you love so much. Thanks.
Teeny weeny show. Thanks.
All right, Dee, let's talk about Bad Thing. So this podcast came out in 2021. The host is Barbara Schroeder, although I don't think she ever actually says who she is in the episode 1. She apparently is the writer and director of Netflix's Evil Genius. There are 6 episodes plus 2 bonus episodes. They're about 45 minutes long each. There's also, I just want to note, there is a second season on a different case that came out in 2023, but we are talking about the first season here. Okay, Dee, what happened in this episode?
The story we hear about in this episode is centered around Jennair Gerardot and her husband Mark, who had been married for nearly 25 years. Very soon after he starts a job in the University of Delaware, Jennair starts to suspect that Mark is having an affair with his new boss, Meredith Chapman. Jennair starts a very elaborate surveillance operation. She also records videos of herself, kind of like emotional diaries, lots of breakdowns and insight into her emotional well-being at the time. And then Jennair murders Meredith Chapman and kills herself. A little while later, Mark puts out a book and also goes on TV to talk about it. And that's kind of it in a nutshell, Jeff.
It's it in a nutshell, but I don't feel like that really gets at the heart of what it's like to listen to this show. This show is intense.
This show is so intense. It was a lot. It was at the end of the last podcast that we listened to, we were talking about how it felt like we were listening to Joey O'Callaghan's diary. We felt like it was very intimate. It was so raw. To go straight into this was like, at one point, I think Barbara, the host, Barbara Schroeder, kind of mentions that it's like a watching a train crash, like when you know it's about to happen. It felt like that every time Jennair was speaking. She's saying goodbye to her pets and she's apologizing. I was like, is she going to kill them? Is that what's going to happen? Like,
goodbye to her pets.
Then she's going up to the window and I was like, what is happening? Like, what is she going to do here? It was a lot. I wondered, because it's so similar to what we just covered with Witness in his own words.
Yeah.
I'm wondering like how you felt, because we had more voices here. So we had Jennair's actual in the moment monologues, the audio diaries. Joey O'Callaghan, we hear his story from the previous podcast, but it's not in the moment. Like it's kind of looking back and he's telling his story and it's powerful. But Jennair's, every time she speaks, you're like, oh my God, like I can feel it. Like you can, it's like the Blair Witch Project. I think we've spoken about this before.
Oh,
but,
that's a good parallel.
You can hear her sniffling. Like you can hear her tears. You can hear her wiping her nose off and sniffling, and you can hear her wiping her tears away. It's so raw. But what's different here is that we have other voices, and I suppose
Yeah.
wondered how you felt about the other voices and how that impacted the story.
It's a big difference, right? Like I picked this to follow the witness because I thought it had a lot of similarities, but it's sort of an inverse of that story in that we're hearing from the person who committed the crime, but also died by suicide right after the murder. But yeah, like even at the very beginning where we're hearing, like it opens with hearing Jennair talking in one of those videos, and it is rough to hear, but then it's interspersed with our host Barbara, and then later we hear more of Jennair, but it's also like it's broken up by both the host but also this Dr. Ramani, who is a I think psychologist. But I feel like here, like this couldn't have worked. If this podcast was just unnarrated clips of Jennair, I think that would have been unlistenable. I think it would have been, well, it wouldn't have made sense, probably. And it would have been too hard to listen to. I think I listened to this episode twice, and I think it was very important to have her, even the little clips, broken up, get context, get a little bit of sort of emotional distance from what was so raw, so painful. Like she was clearly, like, obviously she was in a kind of a horrible state of mind. And yeah, I think we needed a little bit of a buffer. And I think hearing Dr. Ramani, that could have gone a couple different ways. I could have potentially hated that because it's sort of like, I feel like that's a thing that we're told you're not supposed to do, of like sort of like psychoanalyzing someone that is not your patient and offering like a clinical assessment. And I think this treaded that line, and I could see people maybe being on both sides of that and feeling like it was not well done. I thought it was well done in that I felt like she offered sort of a balanced perspective of what she felt like Jennair could have been going through without saying she was definitely going through this. I think she talked more in generalities about what she's seen, which I thought gave it a nice balance. But what did you think about that?
I think it's a really good point. It kind of struck me how often it felt like we were putting words or thoughts into Jennair's mind.
Yeah.
It seems like we have a lot, like they have. We don't. They have a lot of audio, and yet, I don't know, it felt like there was assumptions being made, and I maybe it'll all play out, you know, this is episode 1, whatever. I didn't love that because it felt like, how can we take clips of this and make it an episode 1? Which I get for a podcast, but you're telling the story of someone's breakdown. It's so raw. She seems to me, as someone who has absolutely no qualifications, she seems to be having, whether it's psychotic or diagnosed or whatever, she's having such a rough time that she's looking out a window and contemplating going out. She's looking at looking how to get up on the roof. She is thinking that she is the problem because her husband is leaving her. She is struggling so much, and it feels like it just feels wrong to me for anyone to be questioning her feelings. I feel like the right thing to do, and I say it in quotes, like, look, I know we're an audio medium, but Jeff, you can see me, I'm saying it in air quotes here. The right thing, the correct thing for me to confirm, the right thing in my heart feels more like, just let her words be her words. Like, we can think maybe this is what she's assuming. I don't think we can put thoughts in her. I don't think we can put words in her mouth. I don't think that's fair.
I agree with you in principle, but I do think that what happens here, at least so far in episode 1, is not quite that. I think it can be that, sure. And I think we hear that Mark goes on like 2020 and Dr. Oz. When I heard Dr. Oz mentioned, I thought, well, that's the worst version of this, right? Like that's the trash version of sort of sham doctor pretending to analyze and pretending to have expertise in areas where he really should just shut the fuck up. But what I liked here about that commentary was I felt like she was explaining what happens to people more broadly. and about how injustice is a hard thing for humans to process, how infidelity is a form of injustice, this butterfly under glass metaphor where like she's theorizing, and again she's speculating that what Mark is doing here is trying to, she said, dismantle relationship A in order to go to relationship B. And relationship, like he's so Meredith here is the butterfly
But
under the
that's
glass.
bullshit, Jeff. That's
What?
bullshit, though.
How so?
Because we hear twice at least in episode 1, she flat out asks him, "Are you having an affair? People keep telling me it's over and I'm an idiot." And he
Wait, what's bullshit?
gaslights her. It's
Right.
bullshit. This butterfly under the glass, like that whole thing is bullshit. It's not trying to keep a relationship going. He wasn't trying to keep a relationship going or dismantle a relationship. He wasn't doing that. He wasn't dismantling a relationship. He was dismantling a person. That's two very different things. You dismantle a relationship by saying, "We are done." You dismantle a relationship by calling it fucking quits. You do not dismantle a relationship by dismantling the person that you have vowed to be with and you have been married to for 25 years. Bullshit. And I thought that Barbara was way, way, way too kind to him in that. There was no question of that. I'm sure she'll give it to him at some point. But I was like, no, that's not true. You can't say that. She said, like, he gaslit her.
Yes, they called that
That's
out.
not enough.
By name.
It's not enough to say you gaslit someone. That's not enough. He dismantled her.
He did. Yes, he did. I presume
And
we're
then
going to...
he reaped the benefits.
He did. Okay, well, let's talk about that for a second, because that was a question I had for you. What is your take from this first episode on Mark, on Barbara, our host? Like, how do you feel? Also, and just to add a third question to that, in this first episode, we essentially get the whole story. We know kind of A to B to C, but we don't know. There's a lot of detail we're missing.
I don't know. I felt like, I'm trying to remember who it was that said this. There was this really interesting part of this. What was the psycho? Was it a psychoanalyst? What was
Dr.
her name?
Romani?
Do you remember? Yeah, I think it was her. I think it was Dr. Romani who was saying it all depends on the perspective, or on the lens. On the lens that you look
the
at
lens.
this.
Yeah.
If you look at this lens and you focus in on the murder, you are going to say that Jennair has had a psychotic break. She is mentally ill. Like she's a criminal monster. If you look at the affair, if you look at the gaslighting, you're going to get so many different opinions here. If you look at Meredith Chapman, I'm so intrigued to hear about Meredith Chapman because we hear that she's apparently married and she's younger, and I'm like, what the fuck's your deal here? Like, what is your deal? Like, are you just out to shag? And like, what's interesting is she's not to go against the grain of, the stereotype of some young women who were shagging up. It seems like she's shagging down because she's his boss. I'm like, she
is his boss, but she's like 15 years younger than him.
So it's intriguing to hear about that because, like, what's her play there? Like, I just think that lens, that whole conversation with the lens was so intriguing because the amount of perspectives you can have on a story, like, it depends on the storyteller. And I think that's what's kind of interesting here is that we have so many storytellers. Yeah.
We do. But the lens thing, I just wanted to add to that. What Dr. Romani said was, what you said about if you put the lens on the murder, then Jennair comes across as a monster. But she also said if you put the lens on Jennair's despair, you realize it's much more complicated than that, and that it's not as simple as saying she's a murderer and she's a monster. Like, if you focus on what she was experiencing, what she was enduring, and I think that in the context too of what was also said in this episode about how she did this while talking to a divorce coach, not a lawyer. I guess that was this person, Sheila Brennan.
That was weird and wild and wacky.
Yes. But Dr. Romani talked about how she had the psychological bandwidth to know right from wrong. She knew, so no one seemed to suspect this. No one seemed to be aware that she was thinking about this, planning this, capable of this, which is interesting, right? Because she was talking about it in the context of, was she just like having like a psychological break? Like, was she mentally ill? And how she was saying like, it's more complicated than that. It's not as simple as saying all murderers are mentally ill. That's not just a blanket statement that you can make, which I thought was helpful to hear, because I think we've talked about that before, about how do murderers, how do killers get like that? How do they get to that point? And I thought this perspective was, well, sometimes there's gray areas, and sometimes there's more to it than maybe you first see. If you just focus on the murder, that's maybe too simple. So I appreciated that perspective. I did want to ask you, how do you think you're going to feel by the end of this about Mark?
Oh, prick.
No question.
No question.
How do you think you're going to feel about Meredith?
Oh, I'm going to feel like Meredith was strung along. I'm assuming Meredith had the, how many years do you reckon it's going? Like 5,000 years? How many years do you reckon it's like my wife and I have no relationship? My wife and I actually sleep in separate bedrooms. My wife and I actually whatever. I reckon she was played a fucking string. She was the boss, but he played her, is what I'm going to assume here.
Okay. That's a theory.
I'd say she was the one in control in work, and he was probably feeling like, oh, I like that she's in control right now, but also this is like a challenge to get in control. And she was younger, and I'm sure she was attractive. Fucking man.
Why do you think she killed Meredith and not
Sorry,
Mark?
man. Okay, this is a really good question that I've been thinking about quite a bit. I think she loved him so much that she didn't want to she couldn't harm him. But she couldn't deal with him wanting someone so much more that he would leave her. But also, I feel like she wanted to cause him so much pain that she left him behind. And she thought that was the way to do it. But my question to you was like, do you think that was kind of do you think she misjudged his character? Do you think she was like, oh, well, if he's leaving me, his wife for 25 years, he must really love this person. He will be heartbroken and devastated and unable to cope. And has completely misjudged the fact that within a year he'll have a fucking book and he'll be on a podcast and be whatever.
Yeah. I do think that. I do think again, from what we know, from what we've heard, he is the villain of the story. I do think that.
Imagine being the villain of a story imagine being the villain of the story. 2 women die because of you. Hugely in part because of you.
Yeah.
Horrifically. And like, obviously the person that pulled the trigger was Jennair. So we can't just shy away from that. Like, the reason both of them died is Jennair. Like, it was at the hand of Jennair.
Yeah.
But imagine being the villain of the story and not have been the one to pull the trigger on those 2 occasions. Like, I feel like you're even more of a villain than if you had pulled the trigger. And I think
that's right.
Bet I would put... Oh, how much am I going to put down? I'm not allowed to bet in this game. What am I in? State?
You say that. What? Why? Why is that a thing?
I thought I wasn't allowed to bet in California.
I don't know that anyone cares.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, let's pretend I'm in Ireland. Okay, so I'm in Ireland, so I'm allowed to bet. I would put 100 quid in it that he has a tall, leggy blonde right now.
I don't think you're wrong. I don't think you're wrong. I had a couple other things I want to ask you about.
Go on. Sorry, I have one more thing before you ask me anything. Because you've asked loads of questions. Why do you reckon Mark let Barbara see the videos? Like, or like, why did he even mention their existence? He's like, oh, basically nobody's ever seen them. Like, why would you mention that if you don't want someone to see them? It's like, oh my God, I have this secret. I can't tell you, but I have this secret. And you're like, well, you obviously want to tell me. And you want me to tell you that you have to tell me. Like,
I think you just answered your own question.
Oh, attention?
I think he likes the attention. Why would you write a book? Why would you go on Dr. fucking Oz's show? Why would you go and put out this book? Why would you do any of this unless you wanted the attention? Because he said that he was doing this to help other people. He said he was donating the proceeds of the book, which maybe he is. But I just feel like this is very much a sign of someone who just wants people to feel sorry for him, wants to be the center of attention, and found a way to do that. Because, these were, well, which actually that gets to one of my questions for you. Why do you think she made these videos? Who were these videos for?
I kind of wondered if deep down she knew his ability, like his manipulative ability. And I wonder, this is my theorizing because we don't know much about him yet, but I wonder, did she want to make sure that she had some control over the narrative that came after?
Oh, that's interesting. Because, this is 2018. This is a time where social media like Instagram and stuff already exists and is very popular. And so this sort of
like
culture...
video stories aren't very popular. Reels aren't very popular. Pictures are very popular.
Right. Instagram is different than it is now then. But so she's recording these videos. I don't know. It seems like a curious choice. Like, she's clearly very technically savvy. Because that was the other thing I want to ask you about is her surveillance campaign, which is remarkable, impressive.
Oh yeah, taking notes.
The things that she did.
Do you know what? It reminded me a lot of. Do you remember we discussed a little bit about Jason Corbett and Molly Martins?
No.
Do you remember that? I watched the show. Maybe we didn't discuss it on this, but basically, Jason Corbett hired a nanny. Was Molly Martins. She came over. She was living in Ireland. She became the nanny. They got together. They moved over to like Virginia or something. And her dad, who was like ex-FBI, killed him, but claimed self-defense. I'm sure you heard about it when you were here, because there was like brick and everything involved. So what this reminded me of, so seemingly coming up to Molly Martins. So Jason Corbett had these two kids that Molly Martins had fallen in love with. And she wanted to get full custody of them. So apparently she had started to put surveillance footage all around, like in the car and whatever. And was recording Jason Corbett being like aggressive or like shouting or whatever. Slamming chairs, all that kind of stuff. And like this footage was planned to be used in like their divorce and for the child, like so that she could get full custody of the children. But before that could happen, he figured it out and he was like, I'm taking the kids home, because they were his kids, and her and her dad basically killed him.
Yeah.
Very wild. But this is kind of what it reminds me of. It's like this planned thing. And like, I suppose you have to leave a little bit of room for, is this the plot point here? Because there was one point in episode 1 where I thought, oof, that was a weird twist, where Jennair is going up and she's like, oh my God, they're like, I can't get up to the roof, like blah, blah. And she goes to the window, she opens the window and she's looking down the car park and she's like, I really don't want to do this. I really don't want to do this. She's sniffling, whatever. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, I think there's a neighbour here. And there was this like weird twist in her voice. Like this change in her voice is in like, I'm like, so whatever. Oh, I think there's a neighbour there. I really hope that neighbour isn't looking at me. I don't want that neighbour to call the police. It felt very stark, that kind of change in voice.
Yeah, that was an odd moment. Yeah.
It was a weird moment. I don't distrust Jennair and Jennair's audio footage, but I think we always have to go in with a little bit of a question of the why.
Yeah, I think that's the right thing to bring up. I wonder about her recording these videos. I wonder about like how technically sophisticated all of her surveillance was. I mean, she was sewing listening devices into his clothes while he slept and then downloading the audio overnight and then like putting new devices in. She had voice activated recorder in his car. What?
She wasn't sleeping.
Yeah, that occurred to me too. Like she was doing this while he was sleeping, which means that she wasn't sleeping, which wasn't helping her state of mind, I'm sure, presuming that is true.
Going to his office, going through his stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also,
I mean, renting
Delaware
cars
University, come on to fuck.
What?
Where's your surveillance?
Well, sure. I don't know. The Hemingway quote, which I wrote down and as I was doing it, I thought, oh, Dee's going to give me shit about, of course, focusing on the Hemingway quote. But I thought it was a good quote.
Remind me of it. I listened to it and yeah. The world breaks everyone.
The world breaks everyone, and afterward many are strong at the broken places. But those that will not break, it kills. It kills the very good, and the very gentle, and the very brave, impartially. It's a good line.
Mm-hmm. Best be an arsehole. That's the way to survive.
I wanted to end on I know this is a very dark story. I wanted to end this preview on a lighter note. The name Jennair.
Bizarre.
Have you known anyone named Jennair?
I've known people called Jen.
Sure.
Jennifer.
Sure.
And Air. Let me think of something with Air at the end.
Okay, so I looked this up, and I looked up Jennair, I looked up your name, and I looked up my name to see the relative popularity.
Did you look up Dee or Deirdre? And did you look up Jeff or Jeffrey?
Well, both, but they're always classified by the full name. So Deirdre and Jeffrey.
Wow. How we're so aware that you never say my full name. Deirdre.
I have some questions for you.
Okay.
How many babies do you think were born in 2023, which is the last date this is available? This is in the U.S., so this is from the Social Security Administration. So every baby that's born in the U.S. gets a Social Security number, and those names get classified and their stats on them. How many babies do you think were born with the name Jennair in 2023?
I need like some sort of range. Are we talking tens, thousands, tens of thousands?
It's not tens of thousands.
Thousands?
I'm just going to tell you, less than 5, probably 0. The probability rank out of 1,000 names is 999 plus. And the likelihood that you will meet another Jennair in school is less than 0.1%.
Jesus.
Now, Jeffrey, my name.
Thanks for clarifying.
How many babies do you think were born in 2023 with the name Jeffrey? Just throw out a number.
Like, I don't even know how many babies are born in this country. I'm going to say 527.
That's actually really close. It's 617.
Oh, that was pretty close.
Yeah. Now, when do you think the name Jeffrey in America peaked in popularity?
Oh, how old are you again? 1974.
That's actually really close. 1966. In 1966, Jeffrey was the 9th most popular name in the U.S. It's been falling steadily ever since. Now, Deirdre. Deirdre.
Indeed.
How many babies do you think in 2023, how many parents in 2023 had a baby girl and said, Deirdre? That's her name.
You know what it means. Deirdre the Sorrows.
Now again, Jeffrey, 617 in 2023,
well,
and that's Jeffrey at a low end of its peace, God's peace. Means God's peace.
Oh, it's biblical?
No. It's an English name. It comes from the Middle Ages, or I don't know. It's not like in the Bible. It's later than that. Deirdre. Okay, so 617 Jeffreys in 2023. 617 parents had a baby in 2023 and said, Jeff, that's the name. Higher or lower for Deirdre?
Lower.
Yeah, how much lower? Give me a ballpark number.
281.
So you've been close on a lot of these. That was not close at all. It is, in terms of popularity rank, number 10,707. There were 17.
So unique.
17 girls. Yeah. So if you meet a girl named Deirdre, who was born in 2023, know that there's only 16 others in the U.S. Okay. When do you think your name peaked in popularity?
In the U.S.?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe in 2023. I don't think there's more than 17.
I'll give you a clue. So the name Jeffrey...
1986.
No, that's not even close. The name Jeffrey peaked at number 9 in popularity. The name Deirdre peaked at number 350.
That's not a clue.
No, it's not really helpful at all. And it actually is at its lowest...
After I was born?
No, before.
73.
1961.
Oh, wow.
It actually was at its lowest popularity in recorded history in 2022.
Wow.
Ticked up a little in 2023. So.
Oh, so like people are like, wow, you're a real L1 like with that name. That's so interesting.
Yeah. There was a
I'd say
big
they say
spike in
that at home as well.
1961, and then it spiked again in 1969, and then it's been a pretty big drop off. Both of our names actually were big in the 60s and then dropped off. Yours just dropped off harder than mine. I have graphs. You can look at the graphs. Note the y-axis, though. They're very
There's less than
different.
3 babies given that and the name Deirdre in 2023 in Ireland.
In Ireland?
Yeah. Okay, let's guess for Jeffrey. Do you say
More.
E or Y or yeah, E or Y?
No, R-E-Y. R-E-Y.
Where are you Y?
Yes. Jeffrey, not
I don't
Jeffrey.
How many Jeffreys in 2023 in Ireland? Yeah.
How many Deirdres were there?
What did I say? 3?
Yeah. I'm going to say 15.
Okay.
Smaller denominator in Ireland. Do you not know the answer?
Oh, less than 3 baby boys. Oh, I have a graph too. What year do you reckon your name peaked in Ireland? Number of births was 38.
1982.
76.
Oh, well, not that far.
That's good, isn't it?
Within 10 years.
That was fun. So I couldn't wait to listen to the next one. I can't believe you made me wait like a whole evening.
Whole evening. I was ready to jump on and record.
Well, I'm so glad we didn't wait till Tuesday because I would be like, no, I can't. I'm just going to do it.
Yeah, now I'm going to be listening to this all day tomorrow. Did you have a lot of other people like in your like school?
No, never. Actually. There was one in college, but she was from Belfast. No, sorry, she was from down or Derry. She's from the north, so she pronounced it Deirdre. She had different pronunciation of it, so we were very different. Deirdre and Deirdre was very different. And I was D, always. All right, Jeff, but are you really intrigued to keep listening, or are you are, aren't you? You're such a drama queen. You're like, I need to know the end of the story. I need to gossip
the end of the
about
story.
This.
Well,
you need to know the middle. That's right. You need to know the middle of the story.
I have to be honest. I listened to this a second time, and I honestly had a hard time listening to it a second time because...
Oh, yeah. It's fucking awful, isn't it?
Yeah, those clips of Jennair were really, like, knowing what happens to her, right? Like, that was the thing about The Witness was, like, these stories where we hear someone and we know they end up, first of all, alive, and second of all, sometimes in a better place. And we know that doesn't happen here. We know from the start how this ends for her. And it's terribly. And so then to hear her going through that process and leading up to it, I think the more I hear of that, the harder it's going to be. Mm-hmm. So I think this is going to be really hard to listen to. But I'm going to listen to it. And then we're going to talk about it. That's what we do. Mm-hmm. That's what we do here.
tell us what you are feeling right now, having listened to episode 1 of this. Do you agree? Is there anything you would like to challenge us on? We love a challenge. We love when people say, absolutely not, you're completely wrong. Love that for us. While you're at it though, don't forget to rate us. 5 stars is fantastic, because don't forget, it just gets us out there to other people. It really makes a huge difference. So take the 5 seconds to just press that button. Give us the 5 stars. If you have a couple of words to say about us, it really helps. And please just spread the word and try and get the name of our show out there. Spread it around to anyone you think would be interested in listening. And thank you so much for your support. We really appreciate it.
Next time, what more will we learn from Jennair's recordings?
And what does this story tell us about love, trauma, and vengeance?
We'll be recapping all of Bad Bad Thing.
That's on the next So Much Crime.
So Little Time.
So Much Crime, So Little Time is a production of MimeGov Media. The executive producer is Paxton Calariso. Our associate producer is Blythe Ty. Theme music was composed by Vyacheslav Starostin. If you haven't done it yet, please subscribe to this show in your podcast app. Don't forget to give us a 5-star rating and a review. Even better, tell your friends. To join the discussion, look for us on social media. Check out the show notes for all the links. Thanks for listening.